Well, I can tap out my name.
I'll take it here on the call. Go ahead.
I got the first one. It was a D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one is this.
B.
A.
A. Oh. Oh, yeah. 1, 1. Got it. Okay.
I can't remember V.
It's going to be in the last row down there. 5, 1.
TUVWXYZ.
5, 1, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Then you pause,
Yep.
then one more.
Yep. Oh, very good. I think I could memorize that after a while.
It's really simple,
Yeah.
but it's complicated when you're trying to do it, because if you get one tap off, you're all out of the
Yeah.
thing. Then you go, and the guy goes back and starts over
Erase
again.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. Go ahead.
What would be the difference then when you would use the cup versus the tap code? Why
Okay.
what would be the difference in the situation?
Well, you stick this against the wall and you kind of stuff your mouth in it and you talk against pressure, and the guy on the other side of the wall can hear you just like you're using a good telephone, if he's got his ear in exactly the right spot.
So it'd be a lot quicker way of communicating.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're speaking
Just-
words instead of tapping them.
And the guy who's receiving will give a tap tap every now and then, just, yeah, I got it, I got it.
Yeah.
Well, what was the difference in the situation, I mean? Why would you use the cup versus the tap code?
It's much better and faster.
But were
Easy.
there guards not around, or
Well-
you were in two-man cells, or what? I don't understand why.
Some rooms
you
could
not
see
have
out
cups?
better than others. Like when I was in solitary, I couldn't see out at all. But the kids in the next cell would always be calling me up on the wall. And we did it during noon. That's their siesta time.
Oh, okay.
So there was still a guard out there, but he was kind of lazy anyway.
Yeah. So they never heard any tapping the whole time you were in there?
Oh, sure.
Oh, they did, but they just couldn't figure out what it
They
was?
couldn't.
Would they come in and beat you if they heard you tapping because they couldn't figure out what was going on? Or how would they try to stop the tapping? Or didn't they care about the tapping?
Well, they cared about it.
Uh-huh.
Communicating with other cells was forbidden and in the early days punished by torture.
Okay,
But we did it anyway.
right.
And then if they caught you, they didn't so much want to stop you as find out what you were talking about.
Okay,
And when they hurt you bad enough for long enough, you tell them.
yeah,
It's not like we're giving away the big secrets of the world.
right, that's right. You're confined. So did they figure out then by torturing enough people that was a tap code that you'd just be able to talk back and forth with then, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they knew about it.
Okay.
And the call up was,
And then you'd answer? Yeah,
yep.
right.
Did you ever get help from the inside? From the guards?
No, but some guards were friendlier than others. But the ones who were friendly disappeared pretty fast.
Oh,
They'd sent them to South Vietnam. And the guards figured that out after a while, and they would act unfriendly.
Oh, how many people were in your camp?
I think it was around 200. Well, I was in different camps.
Okay, why'd they move you?
When they moved us out of the place we called the zoo, that was an old French movie colony.
Okay,
And all the buildings, were built so that they could change the rooms around. And then they just went in and bricked them up and put heavy doors on them and made them into prisons.
Okay.
But when they started, after Ho Chi Minh died, things got better. And they moved us out to a prison that was in the middle of an army camp. And they had 6 compounds arranged in a 2 this way, and then 2 across the ends. And it was only half full when they had the Sante raid, and they loaded us on trucks within 24 hours and took us back down to what we called Heartbreak. And then they stuffed us in these 50-man cells. And it was like heaven.
Yeah. Company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't like somebody, you could get away.
Yeah.
The worst number was 3. Then 2 guys always ganged up on the 3rd guy. People were kind of grumpy. But if you got 50 in one cell, you can escape from anybody you don't like, and
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's enough people there.
yeah.
Yeah. So when you say that 3 it was the worst number because 2 could gang up on 1, is it just like a verbal abuse type thing, or they just don't agree with anything that you say, or do they
All the
try-
above.
All everything, huh? Yeah.
That's why he had 3 kids too,
Yeah.
just to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing that was kind of funny, when we were in a big 50-man cell, the guy sitting next to me was Ray Vysotsky, and we both got a letter from home on the same day, and she said she went to Alaska on a trip,
Me, he means.
Yeah.
and Vysotsky's son went on the same trip.
Oh.
And I told
Interesting.
Vysotsky, you tell your kid to keep his grubby hands off my daughter.
Oh, well, he was
Yeah.
cute and a good
Yeah.
kisser, what can I
Yeah.
say?
Was that like a high school trip, or what was that about?
It was the people in Elmendorf
Uh-huh.
decided that they needed to do something for the kids of the POW MIAs.
Uh-huh.
So they invited all the graduating seniors
Mm-hmm.
up there, and they took us like to Kenai, float down the Kenai
cool.
River,
Yeah.
you know, fishing for salmon, and up to Mount McKinley camping and all this cool stuff.
Wow.
And that was, I graduated in 72, and then, of course, they were released in March of 73.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they probably should have kept it going for the MIA kids, but I think
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just, you know, like, the war is over, you know, and it never, I don't think it ever happened again after
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Maybe you should tell about how you got shot down and captured.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask too. We know that Dick had engine trouble, but I didn't know if I know your exact story on how your plane went down.
Well, I was a weasel, as they called us. We had a 1 in 4 chance of finishing our tour and going home. They didn't tell us that when we started, but you can figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah, not very good odds.
And I was attacking a SAM site. We had this,
Surface to air missiles, SAM site?
Yeah.
Okay.
but we had a missile on each wingtip that was pretty primitive. If you did everything exactly right, it would home in on the antenna, and it had a 50-pound warhead, of which 10 pounds was explosive. The rest was shrapnel. And they, I fired one off, and before it was out of sight, I took a direct hit. They were shooting at me for, seemed like half an hour. But when you
yeah.
can hear the shell bursting, you know you're in trouble.
Are you in that plane by yourself?
No, I had
Okay.
a backseater.
Okay.
But these shells, they were firing them on timed fuse. So the shell that hit my wing didn't explode. If it had, we wouldn't be talking now.
Did it rip a hole in the wing?
It hit the main spar,
Okay.
and I was doing 550 knots, and the wing came off, and the airplane just pinwheeled.
Yeah.
And I couldn't bail out after a while. The G-forces were so bad I couldn't reach behind me to get
Wow.
to the bailout. When it slowed down a little bit, normally the handles are right here. I had to reach behind me,
You were forced that far
Yeah.
forward? Wow.
and I always locked my shoulder harness too.
Mhm.
But I pulled up the handle, nothing happens then.
Mhm.
Then squeeze the trigger, the canopy goes, and 3/8 of a second later, the seat goes, and it was a rocket seat.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to the guy in the back anymore, but he saw my rocket exhaust coming in around his feet, and he figured that he'd bail out too.
Yeah. Did he get out okay?
Yes,
Oh, good.
he made what you call a stand-up landing.
Mhm.
He said his parachute was streaming, and the ground was coming up, and when the parachute opens, it kind of snaps, and that's what happened to him. His feet just touched the ground.
Oh, right.
You can't make a stand-up landing with all the garbage we carry, but he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. And you were strapped in the seat, right?
Well, yeah, but the seat goes away from you automatically.
Oh, okay. It throws you from the seat.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a strap that runs
Okay.
under you, and at the right point, it pulls out straight.
In the earlier days, weren't you still with your seat? And that's where you had a lot of equipment and everything? You'd land, unbuckle from the seat, get your equipment out of the seat, and take off?
No,
No?
we never had that.
Oh,
The seat pack went with us. It's got a raft in it,
yeah.
a couple cans of water, a radio.
Yeah. How does that go with you? When you're ejected out of the aircraft, you lose the seat.
You lock your parachute. There's a
Oh.
D-ring on your parachute.
Okay, it's locked
for
into
each
that.
side,
Okay, got it.
and you're always supposed to inflate the raft, because if you land with the seat pack like that,
Yeah.
you can break both legs.
Right.
And
Did
you
you get
don't.
it inflated?
Yeah.
What else was with you when you bailed out? What other kind of equipment?
Well, I had a radio. We had a vest with all kinds of stuff in it.
Uh-huh.
I think another can of water and 2 radios,
Uh-huh.
because the radios sometimes didn't work.
Mhm.
And
Do you go in there with a sidearm? Do you have a sidearm when
Yeah, I
you bail?
had a
45?
38.
38, okay. Revolver?
Yep.
Okay.
Brand new police special.
Oh, sure.
They got that. They got my wristwatch
Oh. Yeah.
and my boots. They were running off with the boots.
Hmm.
We had those jungle boots.
Yeah. Yeah, the ones that keep your feet dry after you go through water. They
Yeah.
dry out. How long did it take for them to get you after you hit the ground?
I was able to drag out a radio, and I made a transmission that said that I'm on the ground and I'm okay. Nobody heard me. And I had already turned off the beeper in the parachute. When the parachute opens, the beeper starts going
Okay.
on guard channel.
And why did you turn that off?
So it wouldn't interfere with the.
Oh. Okay. The person that flew with you, is that called your co-pilot or a navigator, or what's his title?
Well, they had a lot of titles.
Okay.
The guy in back was the most common.
Guy in back.
His
Okay.
official title was Electronics Warfare Officer.
Oh.
EWO.
Yeah. You're the one that would fire the munitions out of the plane? He would
yeah.
not? Okay.
No, he ran the scopes,
Okay.
because we had a thing hanging from the windscreen right here that had rings on it, and we could see the visual strobe coming from the SAM site. And in addition to that, they had a beeper in the back that would beep in our ear, and we learned to recognize not the frequency, but the pulse repetition frequency, PRF. And we could recognize whether it was guns or SAMs that were looking at us.
Were you ever able to find out later down the road whether they were able to take that site out that day or not?
Well, mine missed. I
Okay.
heard that much.
Did you ever find out down the road whether they got that site?
No?
Okay. Too much time had passed.
Yeah. Actually, the SAM sites were not that much of a threat,
Okay.
but I was ordered to get it, and I
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah. If they weren't that much of a threat, why did they risk planes and people for that then?
Well, the people who ran the war thought it was a threat.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guns were the real danger. They were so darn accurate.
What millimeter were